Good day guys, welcome back to the channel. Gerby from the ADV Explorer Aussie YouTube channel. Now today it's another day in the garage and I'm here today to talk to you about the CARABC DB601 Android Auto Apple CarPlay device, specially made for the BMW, for motorcycles that run the BMW navigation cradle. Now, to be honest, I was a bit reluctant to actually take up this project because I think I've done quite a few now, and the two brands that I have been working in closely is Chigee and Carpuride. But what struck me most about this particular device here is that it's been made especially for the BMW, so it's got the mounting that goes right on the BMW navigation cradle, but also it's actually a 6-inch screen, and that's what made me wonder how this device will perform. And I said, you know what, I'll probably take on this one and probably not many more Bluetooth navigation device to move forward. This is probably the last one I'll be working on. So if you want to know a bit more about the CARABC DM601 for BMW, stay tuned. Okay, like anything, we'll probably start off with a very quick unboxing of the device. So it actually comes with a very minimalistic package, to be honest. All you see here is what it says, a CARABC DB601 BMW motorcycle screen, and in the box literally all you get is just the screen and really nothing else. There's no instruction manuals, there wasn't anything else in there. Now I'm not sure if that's because this is a pack that was sent to me for review purposes, or if this is actually the actual end product, what you'll get. But anyway, the first impressions that I've got from the device itself is that the build quality, I was actually quite impressed with the actual build quality. It definitely sits above the Carpuride, but not as premium as the Chigee for sure. The screen size, 6-inch screen. It's got a reinforced screen here, and it's apparently scratch resistant, and it's also got a matte finish as opposed to the vibrant, sharp finish that you get on the Chigee and the Carpuride. Now at the back, you've got the sensor here that connects to the BMW navigation cradle, and it's got this rubber gasket at the side to make it nice and waterproof. And then you've got the mounting points. What you also got at the bottom here is you've got this rubber gasket cover thingy, and that gives you access to a USB-C port. Now that USB-C port you can use for working on this device offline. So for example, if you needed to do a software upgrade, or for any reason you wanted to plug it on and use it, say in your car or something like that, you could, because it can be powered using an USB-C power outlet. Now, a few things that caught my interest about the actual device is what they actually got on the box here. It actually says that the device runs on a Chigee OS, a Linux-based OS. Now, that is actually quite interesting, because in my understanding, the Chigee OS is the OS that Chigee uses on their AIO-6 and AIO-5 devices. And you will be surprised when I put it on later to show you how similar the actual main outlay is between the two devices. Now, a few technical specifications here. It's got an operating temperature between -20 to -65, quite comparable with the Chigee AIO-5, AIO-6. They say that it's got a claimed waterproof rating of IP68. It's got a dual-core processor A53 chip, again very similar to the Chigee AIO-5. It's got a built-in memory of 64 GB. And the display, as I mentioned to you, is a 6-inch display, and it's got a resolution of 120 by 720p, 60 frames per second in terms of the refresh rate, HDR support, The operating voltage is about 12 to 18 volts, and the amperage for it is about 0.6 amps to operate, and it runs off Bluetooth 5.0. And besides that, it's also got an inbuilt GPS positioning system, which it's not used for navigation like all the other devices we have talked about previously, but essentially it's used for things like GPS, speed, and so on. So with that done, let's put this on the bike very quickly and go through some of the features that we have. Alright, so let's put the device on. There's something that I found a bit annoying with the device here is that I found that it doesn't really fit as well as the other devices do in terms of the fitment. So again, to put it on, it's actually quite simple. You've got the two ports here, like any other. If you have your INNOVV, INNOVV6 from BMW, or you use a Chigee or a Carpuride device, it's the same. You just plug it in at the bottom, and then it clips on the top. And then if you zoom clearly here, you can actually see that there is a red color. That red color, I'm not sure if it can be seen in the camera, but that red color bit on the top, that's meant to be all the way down. And this is why I think that the fitting is not best. So you sort of got to force it in a little bit. And when you force this safety clip on the side like so, it raises this thing very slightly, but it's not going to cause the device to drop or anything. It's quite like it's pretty steady in there. But it's just that it lifts up this thing a little bit, which is kind of not ideal in my opinion. Now to undo it, it's a bit of a struggle as well to undo it a little bit. I'm not sure if it's a design flaw or if it's just something to do with my cradle, but I've never had this problem with my other devices that I use. So again, put it in, you got to sort of force this slightly to the side, and then it's locked, and bang, that should stay there nice and safe. It shouldn't really move anywhere. So that was the only gripe that I have in terms of the actual form factor of the device by itself. Now in terms of powering on, very similar to how it does with others. So now that I've powered on, you can see that it's saying CARABC there at the startup, and this here is what you get. This is the menu screen from the actual device. Now it has got the Wonder Wheel integration on the BMW, so this thing works, and it's got Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, just very similar to all the other, the Chigees and the Carpurides. Now just to give you a quick run through, at the moment it's saying that we are on the TFT mode. Now in order to go to navigation, all I do is I hold the menu button, put it up, and that should bring this up to the navigation mode, and with that we should technically be in the navigation mode. Now if I hold my Wonder Wheel to the right like this, you can see that I'm able to now scroll between the functions at the bottom here. So it's not like how you get in the Chigee where you press and hold the Wonder Wheel on the right, it moves between screen. This one you sort of move between the menu at the bottom here, and with the menu at the bottom, essentially if I want to go into the BMW display, if I scroll into here like so, and then I hit OK, then this brings me into the BMW, it reads off the BMW ECU essentially. And then if you hit this button here, that brings you into the secondary display here, whereby it should technically read the tire pressures from the CAN bus of the motorcycle, altitude. That I assume is coming from the actual device, not from the motorcycle. The trip will come from the motorcycle, total input, engine temperature, battery voltage, all of this comes from the CAN bus. And when you actually squeeze your when the engine is on, and when you rev the engine, it should really bring up the revs on here. So in terms of the functionality, it's not as intuitive as you would find with the Chigee, obviously, but nevertheless the wonder wheel function does certainly work, and it just works a little bit differently. So with that screen there that we talked about, that was the various displays. Now if I want to go back, you can just push the wonder wheel like so. It goes back to the main screen. And then if you go into the Apple CarPlay, this is where you actually connect your Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Connection is quite simple, depends on which one you want. If you want the Android Auto, you select there, and then you can start the pairing process. It's got a step-by-step guide here. I'm not going to connect it now. We'll do that when we do the test ride later on. And then going back to the menu at the bottom, you've also got the settings menu. Here you've got a few, all of this can be controlled from the wonder wheel. So you can see that the USB mode, you only want to use that if you are doing a software upgrade. Language, you can select your language. And all of this I'm actually doing just by using the wonder wheel at the moment. I'm not actually touching the screen. So just by scrolling, if you want to format, you can format the memory card there. Screensaver, that's just settings if you want the screensaver to be on or off. The tires here, you can sort of, you can see that I'm actually currently using the navigation. You can buy a TPMS valves as well, that if you would like to use that, but for us with BMW, you can just read it off the navigation cradle. Wi-Fi here is on, and that's basically only for your Android Auto, Apple CarPlay. It's used for that function. Speed unit, you can use whether you want miles per hour or kilometers an hour. The GPS switch here, that's essentially for you can turn it on or off, and that measures things like GPS speed and so on. And then if you carry on going down, you've got GPS info. This tells you how many satellites you've got. Currently I'm under in the garage, so you're not going to get much help in that sense. Time zone, you can adjust. Reset if you want to reset the device. Information here gives you information on the actual software and so on. And then you've got lean calibration, that comes from the device. You can calibrate it if you want to calibrate the lean angle display. Here you can choose whether you want a tire pressure unit in PSI or bar. Backlight mode, you can choose auto or manual. Date and time, you can select a date at a time. So essentially that's the settings in a nutshell. And then to go back to the main page, you press and hold the wonder wheel button, and that takes you back to the main page. And then here is your screen brightness. You can increase the brightness there. It's actually quite good because you can sort of, it's a matter of getting used to how you want the device to work really. And it seems to work pretty well in my opinion. Obviously you don't have any swiping functions and so on. If you want to go, you can obviously use the touch screen to go into the menu. As I said to you, if you decide to use your fingers, you can. And now let's do the glove test. So now what we are trying to do is put on my gloves and see how this thing works with gloves on. So let's see, if I go into settings, yep, it works all right. It looks like you can yeah, it's not the best, not the most sensitive, but having said that, I don't have the touch sensitive gloves. But you know, it's good that the wonder wheel function works in that case for this device. With that, we probably might go on and do a test ride. Now I'm not going to do a test ride today. I have to come back again because it's wet and miserable out there today, so I'm not going to go and do a test ride. I'll probably do this tomorrow or the day after, take you out for a test ride, and then sort of speak to the Android Auto function and so on when I'm riding. But for now, I'm actually quite happy with how the device is performing, and it's pretty simple really. And let's head off to the test ride, and then we'll come back for a quick summary. Guys, welcome back. This is probably been 3 weeks actually since I've done the first part of the review of the CARABC 601, which is an Android Auto Apple CarPlay smart device specifically designed for the BMW navigation cradle. And as you can see in front here, I've got it all plugged in and set up on my R1250 GS Adventure, and I must say it actually looks quite good. Now initially I did mention in the review that I felt like the fitment wasn't quite that right, and if you can see here with the camera, you can see that red line on the top, and that's still there. However, it's actually very stable in there, and I can't fault it, to be honest. Now this is a 6-inch screen, and it's got a bit of a sort of like a matte display, so not that radiant bright display. But the beauty about this is it doesn't pick up as much glare as you would from the other navigation devices out in the market. Now, as I've mentioned before, the build quality wise, I think this thing is definitely above the Carpuride in terms of build quality, but not anywhere close to the Chigee. Now the price point, it is definitely more expensive than the Carpuride, slightly cheaper than the Chigee. The difference is that the Chigee has got more expendables, much more superior device with better support, better technical specifications and all those. This one is not quite there yet, but having said that, it is a fairly reasonable and good package. As I said, the device was sent to me free of charge, but I've been given, like, I'll say whatever I want to say based on what my honest opinion is, and so this is what I'm going to share with you. Now let's go with the operation of it. So like any other Apple CarPlay Android Auto device that is made for the BMW, once it's connected, if you hit up the menu button here, that brings you into the navigation, and then with that you can now control your wonder wheel to actually access the menu functions. Now if you hit the wonder wheel left and right, now it doesn't actually do anything because it doesn't quite work in the same interface as the Chigee or the Carpuride. You actually have to use the scroll. So when I scroll, you can see now when I'm scrolling, it's actually highlighting some of the sections at the bottom, right? So if I go all the way to the right, that's the brightness, and if I enter with the deck, and if I now just keep on clicking the wonder wheel, it actually increases the brightness, right? So that's how it works in terms of the usability, right? Now if I go scroll into the next icon, that is the settings icon. The good thing about this device, which is better than the Chigee and the Carpuride, is that you can actually access the menu functions with your wonder wheel. Now this is not possible with the Chigee, but it is definitely possible with this device here. I'm just waiting for my friend. I think I lost him, so I'm just going to stop here and see if he comes across. So just probably at the front. Probably lost him at the roundabout. Oh, my bad. Anyway, all good. So yeah, you can control basically all the menus here from the wonder wheel. Not that I would think you would want to do it while you're riding, but it's just a nice thing to have, I suppose. Like for example, if you go into a GPS info here, you can see that it brings up the GPS thing, although there isn't really anything there, so I'm not sure why that is. But the GPS is basically only for things like GPS, speed, and so on. And then if you go under the information tab, you've got all the information on the actual model, the version, and so on. And all of this you can sort of control with the wonder wheel. Again, I'm saying I'm not sure why you would want to do it while you're riding, but if you want to do it, then the option is there. Now if I hit the wonder wheel towards my left, like so, that should take me out of the screen back to the main menu, like so. Now if I go under the third one here, that's basically the BMW menu. And here you can see it's reading from the ECU of the actual motorcycle. So you can see I'm on 5th gear at the moment. It tells you what your RPMs are, the speed, temperature, lean angle, engine temperature. It's got all that information that you require. I'm going to concentrate a bit on the road now. I'm on this bend of twisties here. It is quite nice. Alright, now the one bug I found with this software version is there are two screens here for the BMW. So if you recall with other devices like Chigee and Carpuride, if you hit it again, it should actually swap you to the other screen. But this one doesn't. You sort of got to press that icon there with your gloves on, like so, and then it brings you into this other screen, which is just a different outlay, and it gives you like the RPMs, and it tells you your speed and all the other stuff. So, and you can't actually go out of it too, or you can actually go out of it, but you can't go into that menu. So again, just a point, that's probably just a bug with the software, which I'm sure it will be rectified hopefully not too long, right, in the next version or something like that. Now going back out, and the last menu here is for the Apple CarPlay Android Auto. Now I haven't actually connected my phone yet. I just realized that I haven't done that, but I will do that shortly, so stay tuned for that. Okay, so now I've managed to connect my Android Auto. So in order to access the Android Auto, you go into that screen there, you click enter, and it brings you into Android Auto. And look, this is nothing new about or nothing different about this Android Auto screen. If you have used them before, you pretty much know how it would work. So essentially, you can scroll through, and it's highlighted on the actual maps. If I enter there, it brings the whole map screen there. You know, you can scroll through if you got your quick destinations there. Say if you want to go to a particular spot, you can just scroll through that way. And if you hit the cancel button, let's see if that works. Yes, so that brings you to your Android Auto, your Google Assistant. And I don't think that actually works, because if I hit the Google Assistant on the bottom, testing, 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 see, that doesn't quite work. I'm not sure if there will be a software upgrade on that, but it doesn't quite work at the moment. So audio, you can just go and listen to any audio here. Should play on my Cardo. There you go, there's music there, so it's playing, all good in that sense. Yeah, so no issues on there whatsoever. Yeah, so basically with the Android Auto, Apple CarPlay sort of things, you really just need to work around it, and there's not much tutorials you can do to teach people how to really use this. I mean, it's quite self-explanatory in that sense, and you just have to play around with it. in order to get the best function. But essentially, if you hit the signal cancel button, it goes back to the menu at the bottom, and then that way, if you want to exit to the main screen, you can go into here, hit that, and you can go exit, and it brings you back into the main screen. You just have to play around with it to get familiar. But in a nutshell, that's just a quick walkthrough on how the device operates. I think it works pretty well. In terms of the Android Auto, Apple CarPlay interface, you get enough of information there that you need. So can't really fault it much, to be honest. The only decision factor, in my opinion, would be the price point and what you want to pay for it. So in terms of functionality, really there's nothing extra from the Carpuride. I'll be honest with you, there's nothing extra from the Carpuride 701, which I reviewed. I'll put a video up here. The only difference is a 6-inch screen versus a 7-inch screen. I think that this is probably a better build quality. That's probably a bit lower end on the build quality, but that's reflected by the price. Besides that, there's really nothing different in them. Both of them still require you to manually upgrade the software, so you can't really, there's no over-the-air software upgrade, so everything needs to be downloaded manually, and then you plug into the device to sort of update it. Now with the Carpuride, you can have custom screens and custom bin files and all. This one, the option isn't available yet, but I've been told that it will be available. The customer support is quite good in my experience. From what I've been using them so far, they've been quite good, the customer support. So quite happy in that sense. But yeah, really, it's just a matter of getting used to how you want to use it, really. Okay guys, hey guys, so hopefully the instruction on the operation of the CARABC DB601 was clear enough for you. Now, as I said, they send me this device for free, so if you decide to buy this device, I've got some discount codes and affiliate links at the description section of this video. You'll just have to check out. I will update the discounts. At the moment it's 10%, but I think they might increase it, so just check the descriptions down below and I'll have the updated discount value when this video is actually published. So all in all, I think the device by itself works pretty well. There's obviously a few hiccups, as I said to you, with the menu, the BMW menu. I think that's going to be fixed in a software update. And also using your Google Assistant when you're riding, and I think that seems to be a problem with a lot of these Android Auto, Apple CarPlay devices out there. The Chigee has sort of fixed that issue. I haven't been able to get it to work for me on the Carpuride, and I haven't been able to get it to work for me on this either. Having said that, if there is a new instruction that CARABC will send to me, I will give you an update. But all in all, as for now, really the device is quite functional, and as I said to you, it all goes back to what you prefer. I think the build quality on this is really good compared to the Carpuride. But having said that, there's really no physical difference in the functionality and so on between this and the Carpuride. It's really up to you in terms of what works well for you. So with that guys, I think I'm done with the review for this. So if you've enjoyed the video, please give it a big thumbs up. Do like, do share, do subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Adios. Bye-bye.